Hello?
There you go.
You have
Yeah.
you have me on pins and needles, Jim. You got an email or you got a text this morning. Yeah.
I got an email this morning from that guy the author of that book.
Yeah,
Mark Lee Gardner.
yeah.
And he said something about having reached out to you via your agent about narrating the audio version of his book.
Oh.
And so I forwarded the email on to a couple of your. Do you want me to read it or
No.
don't.
or I forwarded it to Jennifer.
Well,
and
that's
to
absolutely
a couple of your email addresses.
Absolutely fantastic. I was just looking at the book yesterday, and I've only read about the first 3 chapters of it. I was waiting to.
I've read. Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
I actually was reading it, Jim, because they don't have like the listen to it now. I actually had to read it, but so far so good as far as his our understanding of what happened in Tombstone. Fucking what is that? 150 years ago.
He gives such a great discussion of how Wyatt stole tax money from that town in Missouri where he was living. And it was money he collected from circuses. He was supposed to be collecting this tax money, and instead of handing over the $150 or so, he just put it in his pocket and rode out of town.
That's Wyatt Earp.
That's Wyatt. Yeah, that's one of the charges.
Just for context, what's the name of the book? So people.
The book is Brothers of the Gun, and the email said, "I'm writing because my publisher has reached out to Michael Biehn's agent about the possibility of Michael doing the narration for the audio book, but hasn't received an answer as the deadline is."
Tell him to listen to the podcast, and the answer is yes. Okay,
give him my email, Jim.
Podcast, yeah, okay. And he said,
"Put him in touch with me."
I'm the one who recommended Michael, et cetera, et cetera. So I'll.
You recommended me.
No, he did. The author recommended
good.
He's being published by a major publisher, by Penguin, the Penguin House folks.
I know.
And but it sounds like they've been trying to get a hold of you, and that fact wasn't getting through to you.
No,
so
it was not.
Okay, great. Well, I'm sure
nothing
new with
nothing new with my agents. And
I was going to say
that's kind of par for the course.
Who?
Michael Biehn. Wait,
that may be some kind of, yeah. Do we represent him? Huh? Here's a job offer, and we're not going to pass it on to our client?
That sounds like my people. Hey, the good news, Jim, is we have a sponsor now.
Oh, we do?
Yeah, there's a company called Topo Chico, and it's water, sparkling water.
I love sparkling water.
We get free water now. They think our podcast is so good, they think it's going to blow up.
I drink sparkling water.
Do you start drinking?
I definitely will go get some of this now.
Give me your address. You're going to have free Topo Chico for the rest of your life, as long as we're doing this. It's our first sponsor, Topo Chico. What do you think about that? It's a Mexican company, and I don't know. The guy that was emailing me and I was dealing with spoke English, and so there you go. What do you think about that? That's pretty exciting.
Well, I'm definitely going to try.
No money yet, but just free water.
Free agua, I'll take it. I really do drink sparkling water, usually kind of like flavored. I'm drinking some lime tangerine.
They're going to love this. Watch this.
So. That's refreshing.
I don't know if you're doing a bit right now.
Is it refreshing?
Topo Chico's a pretty known brand.
What? I know they're a known brand.
Do they give you free water? Or is that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So another thing I wanted to mention, Jim, is that whenever it was, a couple of podcasts ago or whatever, I was talking about my 2 movie credits as a director. And one of them is called Blood Bond, and I did it.
Yes.
Yeah. With Bay Logan. And so I guess at some point in my conversation, here's another thing, by the way. This thing that I do, this fucking hand wringing, you don't see it, Jim, but like if you ever, I know you don't fucking watch it, but like this hand wringing thing that I always do, like what the fuck is that? First of all, I'm not nervous at all, and but I'm watching myself now, and first of all, I got to keep my mouth shut. I talked about that earlier, like just don't walk around. Don't do the podcast, and if you're not talking, you sit there with your mouth open like you've been doing since you were 5 years old. Don't bounce your feet. That's not doesn't look very professional when your shoe keeps bouncing up into your 2T shot. That's what we used to call that shot. Hopefully he's got me there. I know he's going to be lower. We've been fighting over this.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, just as Jim would say, just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. This way they used to call this 2 T's. Yeah, give me 2 T's on Fraker. Give me 2 T's on Michael. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, Bay Logan. So.
Well, you were talking about your hand wringing.
Oh yeah. So the hand wringing thing that I do, for some reason I'm like doing this and Jim, when I'm sitting home watching something, when I'm talking to you, I don't fucking wring my hands. That seems to me like when I was a child, that would be the sign that you're like nervous or upset or have anxiety, that you're like. Anyway, I'm learning. A year and a half later, I'm like, okay, just don't do anything, Michael. Just make your mouth move, and then other than that, you're good. So
hit your mark and say your lines.
Yeah. What was
Blood Bond?
Blood Bond. Thank you. Before that. I was thinking when he said hit your mark and say your line. I was thinking of just play basketball. What was the just dribble and shut up or?
Yeah, dribble and shut up. Yeah.
Yeah. Fox. Woman.
Shut up and dribble.
Shut up and dribble.
Yeah.
Yeah. You basketball players shouldn't have an opinion like we people that are really knowledgeable about what we're reading off these cue cards off of the whatever you call it, teleprompter in front of us.
Teleprompter, yeah. Not like us, yeah.
Yeah. So Bay Logan, right?
That's right.
Yeah, so
we're getting there.
Multiple choice, yeah.
So anyway, Bay Logan and I met him when I got offered a movie in Hong Kong. And I went over there, and the director's name was Daniel something or whatever. And he had a pretty good reputation. I went over there, and I had a great time. I met Bay Logan, and Bay was the guy who was like looking after me, most of all because he spoke English. He is English. He's from England. And as a kid, he just decided one day, I think I'm going to move to Hong Kong and be I love these Hong Kong movies and blah, blah, blah. And anyway, I met him. We used to have a blast. We used to have a ball, laughing. He's got a great, great sense of humor, which is I appreciate. Jim, you got a great sense of humor, and I appreciate more than anything else if somebody can make me laugh. And we just had a great time.
It goes a long way. It goes a long way.
It helps, and
it goes a real long way.
So he then. He's got a really good memory, actually, because he came on to refute the fact that when I was speaking about the very first job that I directed, I referred to him as a gopher on the first movie, and that seemed to rub him the wrong way. He does have a producing credit on that movie, but. I was just, sometimes when you're doing this, like in life, you say something you don't mean, or you say something, I'm like,
it comes out wrong.
Comes out wrong.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anyway, that came out wrong. And he seemed to take a particular umbrage to that comment. And so he went on some podcast someplace and proceeded to talk about me and my misunderstanding of the facts and the situation, and you know, he said some nice things about me, but at the same time, too, you know, there was some sort of, you know, first of all, we made this movie. It's fucking terrible. Together. We did it together. But this is a movie that I shot, and then I came back from Hong Kong, not from China. We were shooting it in China. And I came back, and it was my understanding, and we'll talk to him about it. Oh, because he's coming on the podcast next week. Okay?
Okay. Oh,
really?
Okay.
Yeah, he's living in Hong Kong, so we got to work that out.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
So, because I spoke to him, because I went on this site where he was speaking, and I just blew that site up. You know, just fuck you. You know, this is Michael Biehn. You know, go fuck yourself. That's not the way that it happened. Like over and over and over, and they hit that podcast into 3 parts. And I spent all day yesterday just like going to all 3 of them, and just over and over and over. This like, obviously I don't have anything to do in my life. Another shot at my agents there. Don't have anything to do with in my life. So anyway, I wanted to get their attention, and I did. And so I just spoke to him about an hour or 2 ago, and we had a wonderful time. We've always had a wonderful time. I've always thought he was so funny and fun to be around, and he's very successful at producing movies in Hong Kong. And he still lives in Hong Kong. And, you know, I asked him about, like, what's the difference? Like, isn't it, you know, with China now? Because that was like, when was that, Jim? 20 years ago or about
1999. So,
God, look how fast he comes up with that. 1999. Jesus.
Well, it was the end of the century. I remember that.
Wow.
Because after that, they were going to party like it's 1999. But the British treaty that gave them Hong Kong ended in 1999. It was a 100-year treaty.
Okay, so here we are 25 years later.
Yes.
And so I asked him, like, because I was like, you don't even live there anymore. I was under the understanding because I looked him up and, you know, and did my little research on him. And he said, no, I'm still in Hong Kong. I'm like, oh, is it like different and crazy if being, you know, like being under Chinese rule? And he's like, no. Not at all. Like, unless you're like anti-China, unless you're pro-democracy and you're walking around with flags. No, it's pretty much the same. Pretty much the same. So, so anyway, I called him, and I told him immediately that, like, yeah, I was doing, you know, sometimes just stuff comes out of your mouth, and I said, by the way, I apologized for even calling you that like 2 podcasts ago. And he said, Michael, I know. I said, oh, you saw that? And he's like, well, somebody told me. So there is more than, you know, there is somebody in Hong Kong that's paying attention, which I appreciate. And now that we've got Topo Chico as our new sponsor, which I'm very excited about. So we're going to have Bay on, and Bay, and I told him, and he, you know, like you know, he got me too'd pretty damn hard, because what I was talking to you about, Jim and Kaylin, was the fact that she's a big Harvey Weinstein guy. Harvey Weinstein hired him, and you know the position, Jim. I think you had spoken about the exact position that he had over in Hong Kong. Mm-hmm. You know, finding content for a certain division of the Weinstein Company. And
Hong Kong was a very fertile territory in those days, too, because there were a lot of directors. You know, John Woo was coming out of Hong Kong at that time. There were a number of others. So it was fertile territory, you know.
I sound like I think we talked about this on the phone a little bit. What's the guy's name who
Ringo
obviously
Lam?
changed his first name to Ringo? Hong Kong. Obviously, he wasn't born Ringo Lam, but
yeah. Well, I told you I was agenting at that time, and I had a client who had written a screenplay, and he was a producer as well, and he had Ringo Lam interested in his project, and the guy was really, this is about 1994
yeah,
or so, and this is around the time that John Woo was making Face Off,
yeah,
and Infernal Affairs was being refashioned into what would
yes.
become The Departed. And so, Hong Kong movies were really hot, and definitely Miramax had an interest in importing, as many of them as quality ones as they could get their hands on. So that was a pretty important position.
Well, I'm sure it was, and so therefore that's probably why he took a little umbrage with me calling him a gopher.
I would imagine so. You think?
Yeah. So, but he used
actually.
I'm doing the hand wringing thing. Just tell me to shut up, Dad.
I got too many things on my list at this point. I'm just gonna let you go, honestly.
Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't do this. Don't do that. Okay. Where were we?
Bay Logan's going to be on the show.
Thank you. Loving this water, man.
That refreshing water?
Yeah, Topo Chico. Anyway, this is the first time, so see? Topo Chico.
Yeah.
Topo Chico. Okay. So, but I remember that he was very excited to be working for Harvey. Weinstein, very, very excited about it. And he'd talk about it, throw that name around, and, people's heads turned. And,
in those days, I would have too. I think anybody would have. There probably wasn't a more prolific producer around than the Weinstein brothers at that time. And that would have been that would have been a terrific place to work. Harvey's reputation, I'm sure, was sort of known to some people at that time, but this is the mid 90s, and he was really rolling, getting behind, one successful movie after another. And it wasn't that well known what kind of person he was. I didn't know. I hadn't heard.
Have I ever told you, Jim, that I was on an airplane and I was sitting?
Yeah, I think you did.
And
not long ago, a few years ago.
A couple of years ago. It feels like 3 or 4 years. It feels like it was before COVID, 4 or 5 years, whatever it was. And I was sitting. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just sitting there, and I was talking to this guy, and he eventually said, "Well, I produced one of your movies." I was like, "Squeeze me," like what?
You were flying from like Kansas City to Tucson. It wasn't like you're flying New York to L.A., where maybe you might, you're sitting in first class. You might expect to maybe sit next to a movie producer, but when you're flying from Kansas City to Tucson, you don't necessarily think that. And I think he asked you if you'd ever worked with Quentin Tarantino. And you said, yeah, I did this Grindhouse, was it called? And he said, yeah, I produced that.
Yes.
It turned out to be Bob Weinstein.
Yes.
And he was on his way to a spa in Arizona.
Yes.
Yeah, I produced that movie.
Yes.
What?
Yes. And of course, I didn't have any contact with Bob Weinstein on that movie because he just wasn't around. I never saw him. I just never saw him. And maybe I was just too busy trying to make Quentin and Robert happy, but I never saw him. But it described, Jim, a little bit about we know about Harvey Weinstein, the Academy Awards, and all the wonderful those movies that he made. Everybody knows the Brad Pitt story with Gwyneth Paltrow and all. Like everything's like everything's sort of like that. But his brother was sitting next to me, and he was going to Tucson. I asked him why he was going to Tucson, and he said he was going there to, like, just like chill and like some spa, something in Tucson where like some spa.
Golden Door, I think they call it, or something. The one that Don Simpson used to race off to all the time.
Okay, and I mean, he was a pretty fascinating guy. Can you talk a little bit about the two divisions of Weinstein and what were the movies that he made, I guess, as compared to the ones that Harvey made? Because I always had the feeling the ones he made were the ones that made all the money, and the ones that Harvey made were the ones that got all the awards.
I think he was, you know, I mean, the names changed at various times, but in those days, I believe it was called Dimension Films.
Yes.
And it was the kind of the home for Wes Craven, for Sam Raimi, for the guys who were making the creepy movies, you know, and like I Saw What You Did Last Summer, Scream 2, Scream 12,
all very profitable.
Oh God, they were a license to print money.
Right.
Those movies were, and they really were the profit center for that company, Dimension Films, and that was more or less Bob's bailiwick.
Yes. But Bob's what?
Bailiwick, his
bailiwick. Wait a second, that's a word I'm not that familiar with.
I haven't heard of this one either.
The hell is a bailiwick? That was his wheelhouse. Is that what you're saying? Bailiwick.
Say that? Yeah. Look it up, bailiwick.
You look it up, man. I don't have a fucking dictionary. You can go to your phone right now and say, "Oh, bailiwick, Michael." But I don't fucking, I don't have a phone here. But
well, I got a computer, and a bailiwick is one sphere of operations or particular area of interest. So it tracks.
That would be his bailiwick.
That would be his particular what?
His field, his operation, his division of the company. His sphere of operations is what it means.
I got it.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was sitting next to him, and he was pretty devastated about the fact that he had made like 90 movies. The ones you're talking about, they're all kind of those type of movies. Mm-hmm. And now, and this was, I think maybe Harvey had how long has he been in jail, Harvey? 3 years?
At least four or 5 years at least.
Okay, yeah. Well, I think, it was a while ago. 17. I was on the plane with him. I think it was about the time that you definitely did not want anything to do with it. And he's his brother. Yeah. So I guess as a brother, you're supposed to see the behavior of your brother and say, stop doing that, Harvey. Right? I guess that's.
Wouldn't you think? Yeah.
Well, I guess he couldn't get his brother to listen to him, or he didn't yell loud enough, or he didn't threaten to leave the company. It's a situation too where it's like somebody like Bay, is down the line, and who knows what. Who knows?
What did he know, and when did he know it?
Yeah.
As the old formula going.
Yeah.
It's kind of just all like a guilty by association thing. When it's Harvey Weinstein and it's that big, then it's like, all right, who's around him? Oh, you guys must have known.
Yeah, that's a real part.
Did you not? I don't know. So I would think that, just guilty by association for like Bob and Bay and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Speaking of that, Jim, how long do you think Gilleen or whatever her name is going to be in fucking jail? Another 6 months?
Boy, you got me on that one. You got me on
she's
that
now
one.
at. She's
no, I mean she's.
She's at.
She's like now she's a celly with Elizabeth Holmes. I mean, I don't know if they're cellies or not.
Who's Elizabeth Holmes?
That's the one who put together that Theranos scam up in the Bay Area with that company that can do all kinds of blood tests with a pinprick. They made a miniseries about it.
Yeah, I watched it. Yeah. It was great.
Yeah,
God, it's amazing.
And also one of the
people can lie
one of the Real Housewives of Denver is doing time there as well. So it's kind of like the celebrity
celebrity prison.
jail, celebrity jail. Yeah.
The celebrity jail. No fences, no guards. You just
whatever,
Right.
It's kind of like that scene in, I think, Wolf of Wall Street after Leo goes away for all the crimes and he's just sitting there playing tennis, kind of hanging out.
Yeah, it could very well be something like that. Club Fed, they call it. Yeah.
Club Fed?
Club Fed, yeah.
Yeah. It's not that often I ask you a question and you say, I don't fucking know.
We'll see.
I got no fucking idea. We'll see. Anyway,
I don't know. It depends on what she has to say, but why should anybody believe what she has to say?
Why should anybody believe anything these days? Misinformation and was it truly the president, our president of the United States, who basically kind of started in on that? That's fake news. Did we hear that much, Jim, before?
Alternate facts, they called them.
Well, he called it fake news. So
he called it fake news.
Yeah, so I could understand
Conway
it.
called them alternate facts.
Who called them alternate facts?
Kellyanne Conway, one of his mouthpieces.
Well, before that, before him was
alternate.
Well, I've heard Nixon talk about the press being fucking, they've been have politicians been attacking the press since
you won't have Nixon to kick around anymore, he said famously, and then came back 6 years later, and the press did kick him around and essentially kicked him out of office. If you ever watched All the President's Men,
I watch All the President's Men. I've seen that movie. Even in the last year, I've watched it and or listened to it 30 times. Because up until recently, when I need to fall asleep and I turn off I'm a person I don't need the lights off. I don't fucking put any PJs on. Like what I'm wearing right now, except for my shoes, that's what I'm going to fall asleep in. That's what I'm going to wake up in. And then I'm going to say to myself, I'm just going to go to the gym. So why shower?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's a vicious cycle. Every once in a while, I'll take my son swimming. I did a couple of days ago. I said, okay, I should be good for a week or so.
Got the crud off for a few days.
Yeah. So, Bob Weinstein.
You were talking about All the President's Men.
Oh, thank you. All the President's Men, to me, is, when you talk about top movies, that is a phenomenal movie. And I forgot what we were talking about, Jim. I think it was on the podcast, but it was... That movie starts out with this loud on the soundtrack, very
slap, yeah. Somebody's
clack,
typing out
clack,
and letters appearing on the screen like somebody's.
But you can't quite tell what the letters are. Yeah, clack, and Robert Redford and Dustin Hoffman just fucking kill it, man. They absolutely kill it. They're so good. And go ahead.
And William Goldman wrote a great book called Adventures in the Screen Trade. And he wrote the screenplay for that book because that was a tough thing to adapt. And his discussion of adapting that book is well worth reading, well worth anybody's read about what it took to adapt that book, about the approach he took. Actually, in the book, the line "follow the money" never appears. He came up with that for the movie, but it fits perfectly for how that investigation took off and the directions it went. So Goldman's contribution to that movie is quite considerable. All the pieces came together. It was beautifully directed and shot, and it really is well worth watching.
I'm doing the hand-wringing thing again. Isn't that... wasn't that Robert Redford's sort of thing?
He was hanging around with Woodward and Bernstein before the book ever ever came out. He was kind of following the 72 campaign, the election. He was very much a McGovern supporter, and he got to know Woodward and Bernstein, and he was following them, and so he had an inside track on the rights to that story. They were always going to be, in his hands. So he kind of put it together, put the movie together.
It's a fabulous movie, and
you even
holds
talked
up
about
really well.
like the sound at the beginning and the click clack, and that movie actually won Best Sound at the Academy Awards.
It won Best
right?
Sound.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
there you go. See, I can identify great sound. Just
we even got a pet dog, a puppy, out of one of the members in the cast of that movie.
Yeah. Penny
Pizer,
Pizer, actress.
Dustin Hoffman has a scene with her.
Oh yeah.
He's trying to pick her up at lunch.
Yeah.
and
I've heard about you.
I heard about you. My friends told me about you.
What? I'm just like, what? I'm just talking. It really pisses me off. I can't think of these two names: the director and the guy who plays the head of the owner of the company of the newspaper. The actors. Who directed it?
Alan Pakula.
Well, Alan Pakula,
of course,
and Jason Robards.
Jason Robards is so fucking good in that movie. God,
Lauren Bacall's husband at one time.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't understand why he would have done that. Maybe that's why he continued to fucking drink until his fucking death.
I was going to say he was also a heavy alcoholic.
It's like,
maybe connection,
Yeah, I have never understood that that whole thing. But he is something. That performance is like he's so good in that. That movie is so good. It's so well written and.
And perform too, and he really does, almost chew up the scenery. He's so good in that. Like when he tells them to go ahead with a story, he says, "There's nothing at stake here but the First Amendment to the Constitution. That's all."
Yeah,
and he just plays that beautifully. So
yeah, he's having a meeting with his group, people that work there, people that work for him, and I think his lawyer, the lawyer of the group, says, "This could be dangerous." And the meeting breaks up, and they're talking about, all right, you've got 10 columns for this, and 3 columns for that, and 2 columns for European, like whatever, and they all leave the room, and as the lawyer gets up to go, he goes like, how dangerous? And the guy proceeds to say, well, it's just like nobody else is really talking about this, and like, is it the Post? Not the Post? Was it the Post, Jim?
Yeah, it was the Post.
Yeah, well, where's the Post get? And like, who are these 2 reporters? And he's so good in that, man. That is such a good movie. I really put that. Like I said, I will watch that movie. I love the beginning of it. The beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
The very beginning of the movie.
It holds up really well, especially when the movie came out about 3 or 4 years after the event. We all knew how it ended. And still,
I know.
A riveting movie.
Another movie that is like that. And I say this shows you what a good movie it is Kurt Russell played, I think, the coach.
Miracle. That's what I was thinking when I was okay, if you think about the ending, that's funny. I had that in my head before you even said Kurt Russell.
Well, you're my
Kurt
child,
Russell.
so you got my genes. So yeah, Kurt Russell. And Miracle was a pretty good movie. I really liked it, and I haven't seen that since I saw it, which is odd for me to not do it.
I think we went to the theater.
We saw it together.
Yeah, I think we saw it together in the theater.
Well, the thing about it is that Kurt Russell does that Canadian accent that basically, after Fargo, and I think this was after Fargo, that he does that Canadian accent that everybody in Fargo was doing, and pushed it just a little further and made it sound so ridiculous. And he really stuck with that and did that. And who directed that movie?
Gavin O'Connor.
Gavin O'Connor. Do you know who that is, Jim?
No.
Wow.
Yeah. He also did Warrior with Tom Hardy and Joel Edgerton. That's a really good.
He did
the two brothers.
Yeah, he did The Accountant. The Accountant's quite good.
Yeah. Yeah, and so is the what's it called, Brothers or Warriors. Warriors is really good, and until the very the very end of that movie where one of the brothers breaks his arm in the ring, because they're fighting each other, and one of them breaks his arm and continues to fight, or his arm's swinging, dangling. They really.
It's Tom Hardy who is angry at his brother Joel Edgerton, and they're fighting in the championship match. It's such a good movie, and he won't tap. Joel has him on the ground, and he won't tap, and he goes, "I'm gonna have to break your shoulder if you don't tap." And Tom Hardy won't tap, so he pops his shoulder out of his socket.
Dislocates.
And then Tom Hardy just keeps. He goes, "Come on, let's keep fighting," and he's trying not to, and it's just such a good movie.
Yeah.
Nick Nolte, I think, plays the dad in that.
Yeah, Nick Nolte does play the dad now. That's the last time I saw Nick Nolte, where Nick Nolte was had a really good part and was very, very good. And he's also, he had to play the character of the father who was never there. Now he kind of wants to be a part of it. He was a fighter himself, or he had a ring or a gym or something like that. And it's kind of, let me back into your life. Let me back into your life. Let me back into your life. And obviously he was either such a drunk or a womanizer or was never there for his kids that, they don't want anything to do with him. Throughout the entire movie, that's what the relationship was like. And I'm not sure that it ever changes. And so... I saw, what did I see recently? I'm like, God, that was a waste of time. Oh, yeah. Kaylin's saying to me, like, you talk about movies, Dad, and this and that. And, there are all these old movies. And, I'd like to be able to, talk about movies that I like and stuff. And I'm like, well, go. You got the fucking podcast. Go grab your brother. He's a smart guy. You guys are like, go do it, And but so I this week actually I said to myself, I'm gonna watch a couple of movies from this director, Jim. And I had this conversation with you. Do you remember the name of the director?
Ari Aster, wasn't it?
Yeah. And do you remember the name of the movie that I watched?
I don't. Is it called
Hereditary?
Bo is Afraid?
Wasn't it
What?
Hereditary?
Hereditary.
Oh, you watched
Yeah.
Okay. So I put on Hereditary, and first of all, if I had a daughter who looked like that, she looked like Linda Blair at the end of The Exorcist. I mean, that little girl is fucking scary looking. And who are the cast members in that?
Give me a second.
It's
Toni Collette.
Yeah.
Alex Wolff.
Yeah.
Millie Shapiro.
Yeah.
Ann Dowd, and Gabriel Byrne.
Okay, Gabriel Byrne has got and he's a wonderful, wonderful actor, the most thankless fucking role. They must have paid him a lot of money. He's always pretty choosy, and he's really been in some good stuff. And he's
I love Miller's Crossing.
Yeah.
I could watch that movie over and over again. Yeah. And I watched The Usual
Suspects. Is that the Coen brothers who did?
Yeah.
But he's just got a thankless role in it. But anyway, during that, so I'm saying to myself, okay, I need to sort of update it. I'll watch this movie, and so I started watching it, and it starts out with a family and a mother grieving her mother's death, and then it's just kind of sad at the beginning, and then her son and her little girl go off to a party, and she, I think, is not supposed to eat chocolate because she's allergic to chocolate, and he goes off to take a couple of big hits of a bong, and she goes and eats some chocolate, and the next thing you know, she can't breathe, so the kid grabs the daughter and throws her into the car and says, I'll get you, I'm going to the hospital, I'll take you to the hospital. She's in the back, he's driving fast, she's in the back, he's like, oh, you're going to be all right, you're going to be all right, you know. And this girl, like, at one point, I don't know, she's like 13 or 12, 13 or something like that, sticks her head out the window to get some breath, right? And he's doing like 80, you know, they make a point of showing you that he's doing 80 miles an hour, and she sticks her head out the window and wham! She hits a sign or a pole or something, and her head just comes completely off and fucking rolls down the fucking street, right? And so, you know, cut to the kid who's like, oh my God. And then he doesn't do anything. He just drives home and gets into bed. And then the next morning, they do a close-up on him. They don't show the mother discovering the headless body in the car. They basically stay on his face, and you hear, okay, I'm leaving for an errand, honey. And Gabriel Byrne in the background. Okay, we'll see you. I'll be in 10 minutes. Right? You stay on this kid's face, and you stay on his face, and all of a sudden, oh my God! Oh my fucking God! You know, so this poor Toni Collette, who's already been grieving her mother, and it's just like, totally loses it. Like, you know, she spends so much of the time in the movie. There's one point in the movie where I wonder. So anyway, so she's great. She's just like I would be if anything happened to my child. I'd just be like over the top like that, and then I think it shows her the family at a funeral. And then the next thing you know, the kid's in school. And he's doing bong hits and shit in school. And he's not, like, paying attention in school. And so, it's so odd for me. I'm such I need A, B, C, D. Like,
That's where I thought that this was going to lose you. I was waiting for it to, because I love this movie. I love it, love it, love it. But as soon as you said, I go, yeah, this might be a tough one for you to follow.
I followed it. I knew what was going on. But I was like, and I know it's an A24 movie, so like, we love A24.
Yeah, and I mean, it's one of my favorite all-time horror movies, and I'm like a horror movie junkie. And just it's unanimously regarded as such an amazing.
But the reason I watched it is because somebody of note or whatever, the Hollywood Report, something was like, oh, it's already a classic.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm like, okay, well, this is one I can like definitely. And there's something to me, you know, it has such a hard time. Like I said, I need A, B, C, D. Where are the cops? The guy takes 2 huge bong loads in front of a bunch of other children or high school kids at a party, and then he drives, swerves off the road, and causes the decapitation of a sister, and obviously feels bad about it. But you never see a police officer saying, like, well, you know, like, what's going on? You know, like, it's just like,
where does Sed come from? Yeah.
Yeah. And
anybody lose their head.
You know, it's, you know, and the kid being back in school, you know, if that had happened to me or my child, or like, it just seems like he wouldn't be back in school for ever, you know, years, you know. He was also grieving his grandmother's death. And then he's responsible. He's doing 80. I think there's a deer in the road, and so he cuts to the right, and the head lops off and goes rolling down the thing. And then they cut to the head on the side of the freeway with like fucking a million fucking bugs on it, like eating the fucking flesh or whatever of the thing of her head. And no cops, nothing. Then all of a sudden, he's just back in school, and so she goes to these meetings. Well, anybody who's seen it, you're gonna go see it, and like I have more trouble with that movie than I did when I watched Cool Hand Luke. Let's put it that way. You know. So I'm gonna. So I had a little trouble getting through that. Whenever I have to, and obviously it's a huge hit. It's Kaylin's favorite movie. Anybody that's like 10 years or 20 years younger than me loves it. It's already a classic. And so just because I can't fucking appreciate every moment about it, like that doesn't mean a goddamn thing. And
there is a great shot in that movie, and it's later on, and
the moms
are you didn't see it.
Well, no, if it was later on, but go ahead.
There's a shot in that movie. It's later on in the movie, and there's a like kind of a spiritual element that comes into this. Like it kind of comes in and infects the family members, and it comes in and infects the mom, and she kind of turns into this like psycho essentially. And there's this shot of him in his bedroom. And he's like,
who's he?
The
son or the husband?
Yeah, the son. The son's in his bedroom. Mom's gone crazy, and he kind of wakes up, and it's dark out, and it's just this long shot on him in his room, and it takes you a while, but you don't see it. But eventually, you see the mom is like on all fours and is up in the corner of the room.
Yes.
Like kind of stalking him, and it's just. It's a great shot that you're like, why are they on this shot for so long? And then you see her and you're like, oh fuck.
She's like a bat up in
more like a spider. She's like attached to the wall in the corner.
Or like a cat, like a leopard or something.
No, they would cat or leopper wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah, no, she's on all fours on the side of the wall.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, like a spider.
So
wow.
that was my attempt to stay in touch with the like, hey, what's going on now? And like, you know, there have been a number of movies now that I watch, and I don't like. I'm just fucking. I don't want to be that old guy who goes, fucking movies.
You don't want to be that old guy who says, I think the world just passed me by.
No, I don't. I really don't. Well, it also happened to me when everybody loved so much the movie where everything's just kind of normal. And then I think it won an Academy Award for Best Picture. Everything's kind of normal. And then everybody's at a big outdoor party and like people start killing each other. A Korean movie.
Oh, are you talking about Parasite?
Yeah. You see Parasite, Jim?
No.
Well, did it win Academy Award?
Yeah, won Best Picture.
Best Picture, Jim.
Well, not only that, but this is funny. So a few weeks ago, Time Magazine released like their 100 either best movies or most influential movies of the century.
Parasite was what?
Number 1.
Really?
Yeah. Which they put these lists together so people will get angry at them. I
understand that.
Yeah, that was... They got me. I got angry. I was like, "That's the best movie of the century is Parasite." But
well, when you saw Parasite, you were like, "Yeah,
I thought it was good, but I've never rewatched it. When it first came out, I think you had a screener for it, and I watched it, and I was like, "Oh, this is good." But even that movie, I was like, "I don't think I'm seeing what everyone else is seeing. Like, I'm kind of dumb I'm kind of dumb when it comes to movies, so I don't get all like the symbolism and all that stuff too. So, I mean, I watched it, but I didn't get it like it was being talked about, and I was like, oh, this is good. But
was Jamie Lee Curtis? And I'm thinking another one that I had trouble with Jamie Lee Curtis.
I think you're thinking of Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Everywhere All at Once. Yeah.
Two different. Well, let's go back to the one that you were talking about.
Parasite.
Parasite. It was a Korean movie, and I didn't get it. It became very, very serious, very, very fast. And then there was something I thought was going on, too, where there was an attempt at humor, like, while all this was going on. And the humor seemed to be kind of vaudevillian, sort of, I don't know what.
Over the top?
Yeah, kind of. And then that was when they go into the tunnel underneath. Do you know what I'm talking about,
I don't really remember that. Again, I didn't really get that movie either. I don't remember it very well. But that director, Bong Joon-ho, he also did Snowpiercer, which is a movie that I love. That's a very fun movie.
What's that about?
It's with Chris Evans and it's in the future. Tilda Swinton is in it. Ed Harris is in it. It's in the future. The world has pretty much been destroyed. It's all like covered in ice.
Yeah.
And it's about like a train that runs constantly, and all of human civilization exists on this train that never stops running. But the train car is divided into class systems.
Yeah.
So if you're at the back of the train, you're the poor people, and they rise up and which.
And I think I've seen that, or I've seen, whenever you mention a movie, like that one, I either watched it or tried to watch it.
Yeah.
Because I know that I know that movie.
That one doesn't feel like it would be your kind of movie. But what I was going to say is I think he got famous.
Are there any movies now that are coming? Because listen, there's stuff on streaming that I think. No, actually, I don't. Most of the stuff that what I watched last night, Jim, that I maybe had never seen because I was so jealous of Kevin Costner. I think I've seen parts of it or whatever, but I really, really liked. I didn't see the whole thing because I fell asleep, but I saw at least half or 3/4 of it. Was the Untouchables, and that, covering that much, like time and characters and the big characters that were in that movie and period piece and I was really like, how come I didn't remember like thinking like De Niro's in it and Kevin and Sean Connery. I've got to watch more Brian De Palma because I've always enjoyed his movies, but I've never been as over the top about his movies as I have with some of the other people that he came up with. Wasn't it Spielberg?
Oh, yeah. Well, you remember that. There's a book called Raging Bulls and Easy Riders.
Yeah.
About that kind of cadre of directors. Spielberg, Milius, Lucas, Scorsese. Brian De Palma was definitely one of those part of that group. Most of those guys were ICM clients when I was there. De Palma definitely was. And that was right around the time he made that movie I like quite a bit called Casualty after Untouchables.
Say that again.
Casualties of War.
Casualties of War. That De Palma movie.
Before you go there.
I was going to talk about Untouchables because, I think it's a great piece of popular entertainment.
Okay.
Although it's all bullshit, but it's a great piece of popular entertainment. And I've read a lot about Al Capone. I was kind of getting started on doing a miniseries.
Was Elliot Ness responsible for bringing Al Capone to justice?
Elliot Ness was responsible for promoting Elliot Ness. Elliot Ness wanted to go in the FBI when he got done in Chicago, but J. Edgar Hoover wouldn't have him because he was too much of a self-aggrandizer. He didn't have very much at all to do with bringing down Capone. Capone was brought down essentially by some IRS agents. And there was a guy in the IRS who was a really interesting character who, could have been an interesting movie subject, but Elliot Ness really kind of came along toward the end. What he was doing, busting up some of those factories, with his trucks, didn't really put much of a dent in Capone's operations. It was when he was convicted of tax evasion and sent off to prison at the age of 30 that brought an end to Al Capone. But Ness was kind of a mess. Ness was, if I told you that both Ness and Capone died pretty young. And if I told you that one of them died a broken down alcoholic on the floor of his kitchen with a drink in his hand,
right,
and the other died in his bed of natural causes surrounded by a family that loved him, which would you think was which? And if, it was Ness who died on the kitchen floor, and his life after the Untouchables was pretty controversial and not very successful. So, but the movie's good.
Yeah.
I mean, Connery, could that be much better? The Chicago way. He brings a knife, you bring a gun. It's all great stuff. David Mamet really was having fun with that script, you can tell.
Well, you're right. David Mamet wrote it. I didn't realize Mamet had so many screenplays. I just didn't. I didn't realize it. I didn't know that he wrote that. Sean Connery, especially when he's kind of introduced to Kevin Costner's character, that first 20 minutes of Sean Connery on film, 30 minutes on film, is so good. He's so good. He's so grounded and deep and kind of this guy has seen the world. This guy has got
veteran. He's a veteran.
Yes. Yeah.
His exchange with Andy Garcia is pretty funny too. When Andy Garcia flips him some crap and he says, "Oh, I like this guy. I like this guy."
Yeah. Yeah. There is a character in that movie, Jim, played the bass player in the Buddy Holly story, and is the wonderful actor.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know his name?
Charles. He was in American
Smith?
Graffiti.
Martin Smith?
Yeah.
Charles Martin Smith?
Yeah. And he was in a really terrific movie called Never Cry Wolf.
Yes.
That Carol Ballard directed.
And I'm not sure I've ever seen that movie. I know that he was the star of that movie, correct?
Yes.
Is Carol Ballard a man or a woman?
A man.
A man, okay.
He was a cinematographer for years, and then he directed movies like Black Beauty. Remember that movie?
Was that the one with Mickey Rooney?
With Mickey Rooney,
yeah.
And Never Cry Wolf, which was set up in Alaska. He was like a naturalist. It was kind of a true story about a naturalist who goes off and lives among the caribou for a year, and observes nature, but it's beautifully shot, as you would expect from
What's the name
Carol
of that
Ballard.
movie, Jim, that I think maybe Sean Penn directed? There's a young guy who's like, I'm just going to go fucking camping and spend the rest of my life.
Is that Into the Wild?
I don't know. No, but I thought Sean Penn directed that one, right?
Did a pretty good job, too.
Yeah, and who's that actor?
Emile Hirsch, I believe.
Emile Hirsch, yeah, okay. Yeah. That was an interesting movie, and that was, you've got some talented people when you've got like one person in the movie, and I like that guy's performance. He's had a lot of Me Too stuff going on too, but there was the actor Seth Rogen's friend who played the character who's a real life character who's a guy who was out camping by himself and he falls off of down a crevasse.
Oh yeah,
James Franco.
James Franco.
127 hours.
127 hours.
I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, just him, mostly just him in that movie. He meets a couple girls at the beginning of it, but that's can you
that's Danny Boyle. There's a scene in that movie where he's having to cut his arm.
I know.
And just the way Danny Boyle, there's like one nerve that is like the hard part to get, and him like cutting through the nerve and the sound of it. I can never forget that image, that scene when I saw it. It's disturbing, but it's very good. I love Danny Boyle.
Yeah. That's a movie where you don't see very many people. I think he meets a couple of whatever they are, 2 girls that he's kind of wandering around with for the first 20 minutes of the movie. But that was a great movie, and kind of
that's also
I'm kind of going all over the place here. I'm just going from like movie. Oh, that was a good one. That was a good one too. Hey, how about that one? Hey, how about that one? I will say I was a little disappointed that nobody had a chance to either and or watch and or write about David Thewlis in Naked. A couple of podcasts ago. I'm like, hey, you gotta see this movie. You gotta see this movie. You gotta see this movie. You know, and it's everybody writing in. Can you talk about Navy SEALs? Yeah, sure. I'll do Navy SEALs. Should I plug Topo one more time? Okay, so this is the time that we have to say goodbye. It's always sort of sad. It's really kind of odd when you're actually doing when I was doing Rosenbaum's podcast, I would like when he comes to the end. We don't have any guests here, so maybe I'll get back to Bay coming in too, and about his relationship with Harvey, and we can talk to him about that. But he's a funny ass guy. Hopefully he'll be funny when we talk to him, but he'll be in Hong Kong, so this will be the first time that we have to fucking work out all right, Jim. I will. I'll call you on the way home, and we'll just continue this conversation.
Exactly. We'll pick it up where we left it.
All right,
I can remember.
All right.
You got it.